The sports sponsored by Rapid Radio's Padres just fell again to the Miami Marlins 3-2. Lost last night and lost again today. They will be taking on the St. Louis Cardinals for a 4-game set starting tomorrow. And big news out of the NFL. Jags plan to flip-flop Travis Hunter on offense and defense in camp. People were wondering if he'd be playing both ways. They have not made their decision yet, but he will be playing both ways in camp. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, get an extra 5% off.
And let's get it going on a Wednesday. What up, everybody? My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We are with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then, and we got no time to waste today on a Wednesday. Very, very busy show. Couple of giveaways. Wiz Khalifa tickets for August 8th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Creed tickets for August 6th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We got two guests coming on today. Mark Neville, who's the CEO of Sports San Diego. There was a pretty big announcement this morning right at 8 o'clock that freaking NASCAR is coming to San Diego officially, and it's going to be done on the naval base out at Coronado. Potentially the biggest, most attended sporting event in San Diego history is coming to San Diego next year. I believe June 21st is the date, and there's going to be 3 days worth of NASCAR. It's going to be a blast. Mark Neville is the man who made it happen. He's going to be jumping on the show coming up at 12:30, and then at 1:30, we got boots on the ground today, Sammy. Out at Chargers training camp in San Diego, Derek Togerson with NBC7 is going to be jumping on the show. And I want to know what the vibe was of that, because online, everything seems so peachy. Jim Harbaugh says it's so special to be back in San Diego, where his roots as a coach were. I want to know what the vibe was from someone who was there. So Derek Togerson is going to be jumping on coming up at 1:30. All in the meantime, Sammy just told you the Padres just dropped 2 straight games to the Marlins. And couldn't think of a worse time for it to happen. Dodgers are floundering. It looked like the division was in shot for a couple days, and maybe it still is. But we said it 2 days ago. Padres have to take advantage of these 3 games against the Marlins because your schedule coming up is pretty brutal. Cardinals are in the schedule coming up next. It's going to be a tough stretch of games for the Padres, and to not take advantage, to drop 2 of 3 to the Miami Marlins feels like a real missed opportunity for a Padres team who is talked about as being one of the up-and-comers, the buyers of the trade deadline. Dropping 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, Sammy, not good timing.
No, it's pretty pathetic. I mean,
come on.
No, it is. It's because, I mean, to that point, the Dodgers are playing terrible baseball right now. They are 3-11 in their last 14 games. They're completely flailing. I mean, listening to our sister station up there, AM 570 up in Los Angeles, people are not happy, and they shouldn't be. I mean, the Dodgers have kind of been hanging on to the notion that they're going to get healthier as they keep going. And they will. That's true, but the bullpen has not been up to snuff. Mookie Betts has really been struggling. Freddie Freeman's really been struggling. Teoscar Hernandez, and they're not playing good baseball right now. And a month ago, we're looking at the fact that the Padres were out of it. The Giants, kind of everyone from the division, 10 games back. And then heading into this week, you're feeling, wow, okay, Padres, after they won on Monday, you're going 3-1 to start the break. Nice little momentum here. Hopefully you can close out a series against Miami, a team that you're supposed to be better than, considering the schedule coming up. Cardinals 4-game stretch. Mets, Cardinals again, then Boston. Those are not, I mean, Boston's the hottest team in baseball, along with the Brewers. The Mets have some of the biggest sluggers in baseball, and the Cardinals are a good ball club. So you felt like, we talked about this, we wanted a sweep in Miami. You certainly wanted 2 or 3. It just some odd, like, I mean, it's so hard to get a read on this team. I mean, you can't take advantage of the fact that the Dodgers are losing. The Dodgers lost last night. I mean, last night, the pinch hit, you know, Martin Maldonado gets pulled from the game in the 9th inning. Felt like you were going to make a run there when Jackson Merrill hits the one off the wall. And then today, bats come out completely flat, 2 runs. It's disappointing, and it's hard to really kind of get with this team buying at the debt. They certainly need help, but it's just with ownership that already has a problem spending money and giving up stuff. It's probably tough to sell this the way that they played the last 24 hours.
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on, because within 16 hours, it does feel like something has changed. So the Padres play yesterday, 3:45, lose, and then play today, 9:45, lose again. Now they're off to St. Louis. we'll see how that goes. But Dylan Cease, while he was on the mound today, he actually didn't look terrible. Gave up a few runs by way of a home run ball in the 5th inning, I want to say. I was watching on my phone while doing other stuff around work. But Dylan Cease gives up the home run ball. His day ends, and then the Padres just don't have enough offensively to get back. But you would think 3 runs is enough for an offense that has this many superstars on it to combat. 3 runs should be fine by the pitching staff to come back and try to get a win for the Padres, especially when you know this is a critical time. But while Dylan Cease was on the mound, Buster Olney, who works at ESPN, has a couple of tweets out about Dylan Cease. The first one, a surprise name has emerged in the starting pitcher market, Dylan Cease, who will be eligible for free agency at the year's end. Perception of other teams is that the Padres are intent on making a push for the playoffs and would use Cease to help fill other roster spots. So Dylan Cease definitely on the trade market, it would appear, if the offer is right. Buster Olney also saying Padres have talked to the Orioles about Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton, who, if you don't know, has been on like 3 separate World Series winning teams as a member of the staff. With the Rangers at one point, with the Braves, I believe. There's got to be one more that I'm missing with Charlie Morton, but he's won a bunch of World Series and he's a great postseason pitcher. Padres have talked to the Orioles about Charlie Morton, so maybe the plan is to add a starter like Morton if Cease is dealt for other assets. So Buster Olney clearly thinks that the Padres are going to be moving on from Dylan Cease. Yesterday, the name that was floating around quite a bit was Jake Cronenworth, and if you listen to Eric Hosmer, he thinks that the Padres are trying to trade Jake Cronenworth. So obviously something is happening here with the Pods. I'm curious that if dependent on how the schedule looks over the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks, really, with the trade deadline looming and the Padres having a rough stretch of games here against the Cardinals first in St. Louis, and then they're back home to play the Mets, and then the Cardinals again, and then the Diamondbacks, and then the Red Sox. What happens if the next week goes really, really poorly with the Padres? What happens if the Dodgers all of a sudden start to turn it around? You feel like the NL West is slipping away from you. The National League being hyper competitive right now, what do the Padres do if the next week goes in the tank and you're starting to see things slip away? Is it still, AJ, go ahead and buy? Or is it move Dylan Cease, get some prospects, and we'll see what happens next year?
Paris says Dylan ceases to amaze me. I'm done with this guy. Paris, I hear you, and I know it's frustrating how Dylan Cease is supposed to be acting like an ace.
Dylan Cease wasn't the problem today.
Right. I mean, it's I know he gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, but at the same time, it's like the offense really can only muster two runs today. I mean, at some point, it's the fact that we're holding this pitching staff and bullpen to such a high standard because the bats are just they're frankly they're bad right now, and there's zero consistency from anyone in there. I didn't understand Schilt. I get the whole righty lefty thing, but Maldonado, to his credit, and we've kind of buried him on this show, had been playing better over the since the All-Star break, and then you pull him yesterday in the 9th inning. It's just I don't know. It's like everyone talks about how the Padres can be buyers if they trade Dylan Cease for things. For not prospects, but for a player. But is trading Dylan Cease really buying? Like, is that because I think
depends on what you get. Are you getting Major League Baseball ready guys, or are you trying to reload the farm system?
But even if
that's the distinction, right?
Even if you get Major League ready guys, I mean, Dylan Cease is a guy that you feel like if the Padres were to make a run, would need to be on the roster. I know he hasn't performed up to snuff this year, but this is a guy, like, I don't know, and this is all credit to Nick Pivetta because he's been fantastic this year, and I want to give him nothing but love because he really has been the ace of the staff. I find it hard to believe, though, that if Nick Pivetta is the ace going into the playoffs, the Padres are poised for a long run.
Yeah, I think truly the difference is what you get back for Dylan Cease. If you're moving Dylan Cease to get a bat to put into this lineup immediately, somebody who's going to be starting every day for the rest of the year, like a Marcell Ozuna, which was the popular name yesterday, that's still buying. But if you're moving Dylan Cease to get 3 prospects, you're selling. So that's kind of the difference of the buying and selling. And I think the Padres are still kind of teetering on which way they're going to go. You could say all you want that you're buying if you're moving Dylan Cease, but it's really depending on what comes back to you. I'm curious, man. I'm curious to see how much this shakes up. I'm curious to see if the Dodgers rebound whatsoever. Because like you said, Sammy, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, they're B, C- players right now for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers bullpen is seemingly awful. There's a headline on ESPN right now saying Dodgers hit rock bottom last night. Might be a little exaggerative. They're still first place in the NL West.
It's the first time I think they've gone in a stretch of 14 games, 3-11 since 2021. So this is, I mean, there's been a large sample of games for the Dodgers. This is not you lose a series, you lose two series, and it's kind of a small. I mean, the Dodgers have problems right now, and they're really not playing like a very good baseball team. It feels like Ohtani, either he hits home runs or he doesn't get on base. It's like if you're the Dodgers, Will Smith and Andy Paz have been your savior because the stars have not been there, and some people might equate that to age. You know, Freddie Freeman's getting up there, Mookie's getting up there a little bit, but it just is frustrating that a team feels like the Padres were getting excited about over the weekend. And we did point this out about how we need to see them do this against upper tier competition. Well, now you lost to below tier competition. And we know the Padres, I don't know the exact stat in front of me. I believe they're like 23-36 against teams above 500. Don't quote me on that. It could be wrong. But now you're about to play a lot of really good teams. And you have a chance to bury the Cardinals over the next week, which would be huge for in terms of the wild card standings. Or if you screw this up and over the next 7 games that you play with the Cardinals have a losing record, they have a shot to realistically jump you. Because the one thing the Padres have going for them right now is they have tiebreakers against the Giants because they have played them pretty well this year, and the Giants are 2 games back of the Padres. So just feel like the last 24 hours was pretty disappointing for the Padres.
It was such an opportunity, and it's an opportunity you let slip through your fingers, which that is a bummer. All right, we're going to move the big three till to coming up next, and then we do have Mark Neville jumping on at 12:30 to talk about the NASCAR event coming to San Diego in June of 2026. Is going to be a huge deal. We'll talk with the man organizing the whole thing from Sports San Diego. But coming up next, let's get the big three stories of the day all around the world so you could get a little more info as you're heading back to the office after your lunch break. And we're going to give away those Wiz Khalifa tickets coming up next as well. So stay tuned at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. It's been a big news day here in San Diego. I thought yesterday was with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, and I spent all morning this morning taking calls from people around San Diego on our classic rock show over on 101.5 KGB. Some cool memories, man, of Ozzy coming and playing the sports arena back in '83. Ozzy had a show at the San Diego State, the open air amphitheater on the campus of SDSU, where he literally the next day got banned from performing in San Diego ever again, because during the show he announced the craziest mother effer that gets up on stage with us gets to come backstage and party with us. And Travis Dale was at that show, and he talked about security guards openly punching people in the face who were trying to get on stage.
The GOAT, man, Ozzy.
And he was the most rock and roll dude ever. And yeah, we'll continue to play some Ozzy on the show today too as we come back from breaks. But the big news day at San Diego is that NASCAR is coming to San Diego. Now, we knew that part. We knew it was coming in 2026. But remember, there was all sorts of rumors a couple weeks ago, Sammy, that NASCAR would be coming and they'd be building out a track within the city of San Diego, like downtown. Well, those were false. The truth is that it's going to be on the naval base in Coronado, which I think is badass. It's celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States Navy. So it is going to be a moment, man. And that's next year in June of 2026. Mark Neville is going to be jumping on the show in about 14 minutes, and he's going to talk about it. He is the CEO of Sports San Diego, played a big part in getting NASCAR to San Diego. Can't wait to chat with Mark about how that's going to look, how it's going to work. How the hell are you going to get 90,000 plus people onto Coronado to watch this thing? It's going to be chaos. And most importantly, how are Sammy and I going to be able to party on the infield with RV?
Yeah, we had Quacktown Padres sent tweeted at us, said we need a little, we might need a little, Fletch and Sammy bus or something.
I would like that a lot.
All the listeners can come. Alcohol on iHeart.
Well, I don't know that we can promise that. Don't even know if that's legal, but we can give it a shot.
Listen, they're not. Our bosses aren't going to be there. They're not going to be in the middle of the pit.
In fact, I would imagine our bosses are going to be in like box seats.
Yeah, they're up there with all the hoity-toity. We're down there with the people.
I'm wearing overalls. I don't care.
That might be a little bit aggressive. I think we might need to do a few more sit-ups before we start going overalls.
I might be fully shirtless. I don't know exactly what the plan is, but
you don't
NASCAR,
want to scare people away, Fletch.
NASCAR coming to town. I mean, it's time. You're not drinking Coors Light. You're drinking Coors Heavies. You're drinking Yellow Bellies. We're going all in. I'm excited for NASCAR to come. So we'll get all the details from Mark Neville and maybe toss back a couple of Yellow Bellies with him coming up in about 10 minutes. But Sammy, we ignored the big three because we were kind of doing a de facto post-game show for the Padres, who had a really, really disappointing last 17 or 18 hours where they dropped 2 games to the Marlins. So why don't we get to the big three now, where Sammy Long takes us through a journey of the top stories in the world of sports. Wiz Khalifa tickets coming up in 5 minutes, so stay tuned. But Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you'd like to watch the show, you can do so on X, at Fletch and Sammy, on YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760. You can see Sammy's just beautiful face and great head of hair as he takes you through these stories. Sammy, where are we starting?
Starting the NFL.
I like it.
So a lot of people have relationship problems. Sometimes it's between you and your girl. Sometimes it's between you and your man. Sometimes it's between a quarterback and a wide receiver. Tua Tagovailoa frustrated with Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill infamously had comments after the last game of the season last year where he said, "I'm out." And he just left. He said a press junket and just left it. Tua Tagovailoa said today, when you say something like that, you don't just come back from that with, "Hey, my bad." You got to work that relationship up. You got to build up everything again. Tua and Tyreek. Thoughts?
If anyone knows about relationships that get broken, I feel like it's Tyreek Hill. Doesn't he have like 7 different baby mamas?
I think 10.
10 different baby mamas?
Don't short him.
That dude is spreading out all over the world. Look, you could say that, Tua, right now, but once you get into game situation and you realize you don't have to cheat on your team, I think you feel differently. As soon as he makes one play 40 yards down the field that only Tyreek Hill can do, I think you'll feel differently. Wide receivers are wide receivers, man. Tyreek Hill fits that narrative to a T, and you're going to want him on your team next year. Mike McDaniel's offense works much better. By the way, 42 days, 11 hours, 38 minutes, and 57 seconds.
We are 1 month away from college football starting right now. Oh, my God.
That feels good to say.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, Sammy? You got passed with Tyreek Hill.
Yes, I do love me some Tyreek Hill from his time in Kansas City. Before the text line goes crazy, I don't condone off the field stuff. I just enjoy Tyreek as a player. Yeah, this is interesting to me because the Dolphins were a team that felt like they had a lot of momentum 2 years ago. They were the number 2 seed until they got knocked out by the Bills in the last game of the season. And then they went to Kansas City when it was like -10, lost. So only scored 7 points. Then last year, most of the season was kind of taken away because of the fact that there were massive injuries. Kind of went on a little bit of a tear down the stretch, won 4 or 5 straight games, but we're too iced out for the playoffs. The Dolphins, like Mike McDaniel gets a lot of crap. I like Mike McDaniel a lot. In terms of offense, if they're healthy, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. I mean, this should be reared up and ready to go. I don't really know what Tua's complaining about. I get where it'd be frustrating when your star wide receiver is making comments like this, but at the same time, this is also the guy that was talking about how Tua was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, completely gassing Tua up early on when he got there. And was obviously that's not true, and no one believed that, but he was just trying to hype up his quarterback. Like, obviously we're not blaming Tua for getting hurt, but if you are on that team with a lot of talent, I'm sure it is frustrating with the amount of injuries that stockpiled, not only with Tua, but on the defense. So I'm not really blaming him. I don't know why Tua took this to the media, but
I do think Tyreek was pissed for more than just one reason last year. He also was dealing with that wrist injury. He wasn't right. He wasn't playing his best. Like, I think you have to almost take things wide receivers say and put it through a filter. Like, Tyreek was as mad at himself as he was at the Dolphins.
And he also said yesterday something to the point of like he kind of apologized for taking so much money and not performing up to snuff last year.
Yeah.
Tua, this seems odd for me that he would put this out there.
Not very quarterback-heel.
Not very.
Even when Stephon Diggs was being a dingus, Josh Allen was saying, "Man, I love Stephon."
Speaking of quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, just in a few minutes ago, ongoing Bengals contract issues are, quote, disappointing. This comes with Trey Hendrickson holding out, being in Florida, and then Shamar Stewart not reporting to training camp. I mean, where are we at with the Bengals? Where are we at with Joe Burrow?
There is one person that can hopefully knock some sense into the Bengals, and I don't even think he can do it, but it is Joe Burrow. This would be a rare moment where I would 100% back a quarterback for talking some smack about his team publicly. I think Joe Burrow needs to go the old Watergate style and maybe throw some anonymous quotes out there at first and then start leaking some stuff to the media, because the Bengals need to understand that they have a once-in-a-generation quarterback on their team, and they need to surround him with some help. Like, legitimately, the only thing standing between Joe Burrow and maybe a run of 2 or 3 Super Bowls is not having a defense. Can you please get the man a defense or ship him out of town? NFL fans deserve better than Joe Burrow on the Bengals.
Yes. One caveat to that, though. Joe Burrow kind of created this. Not in terms of the defense, but in terms of the fact that he did say, I want Jamar Chase there. Understandable. He's one of the best receivers in football.
Duh.
And then said, I want T. Higgins there. Selfishly, for Joe Burrow, you want as much as possible. Joe Burrow should realize that Yoshi Voss is an up-and-coming receiver. I've kind of been on him. He's a number 3. He had a really nice season last year. And then on the defense, like, there's not going to be money for everyone, especially because Joe Burrow took a massive contract. Now, it is disappointing. I get what he's saying about the fact that, like, if you're Shamar Stewart, normally I'd be like, hey, you got drafted, you're about to sign a contract, like, just go play. I kind of get it. I mean, if you're Shamar Stewart, you play the exact same position as Trey Hendrickson, and they clearly have no interest, despite having a horrid defense, going to be the worst in the NFL next year, will not pay the sack leader in the NFL last year. What does that mean for me? What does that mean for my success down the road? I understand why Shamar Stewart's sitting out, and so I get it, but I'm surprised Joe Burrow's not putting pressure on the brass up top.
All right, we need a lightning round story number 3. Go for it.
Oregon coach Dan Lanning is advocating for college football to adopt an NFL-style playoff slate. Should mirror other sports. That means no long layoffs, and kind of do it where it's week by week basis, not this whole you sit out for a month and then get into the playoff. What do you think about that?
I actually think college football needs to adopt a lot more from the NFL. I don't hate that from the Oregon coach.
Real quick, and they want to wrap it on January 1st rather than later in the month.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think that college needs to start adopting how NFL contracts work. I think if you are trying to be pro football, which it kind of seems like college is, you might as well go all the way. This in-between land is where we're seeing all these issues where bowl games mean absolutely nothing, where teams are losing their head coaches before the final games of the season, where half the team is sitting out. College football is in a bad place right now. If you're going to switch to pro sports, switch all the way. No more of this in-between crap.
Yeah, it feels like college football loses a lot of momentum. And I know you love college football, I love college football, but it's like you get to rivalry week, you get to Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Notre Dame, you get to all the great games that you get to watch, and the playoff gets set, and then all of a sudden we're waiting 3 weeks. It's just if I don't give me that. Oh, they have finals. Stop. Okay, the star quarterback of Ohio State is going to be playing no matter what. If he gets an F on his English exam, they need to play it the next week. They need to get after it and not run up against the NFL playoff calendar.
Mark Neville coming up next. Right now, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to go see Wiz Khalifa with Dom Kennedy, Action Bronson, Earl Sweatshirt, Absol, Chevy Woods, Fed the God, DJ Bonix, all at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, Friday, August 8th. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Caller number 6, you're going to the show for free, 877-767-4760. Mark Neville talking NASCAR coming to San Diego. Coming up next, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. Padres just lost to the Marlins 3-2. They will be in St. Louis for a 4-game stretch against the Cardinals, who are currently 3 games back of the Padres in the NL wildcard race. They bring in a record of 52-50, while the Padres sit at 55-47. Yu Darvish should be going for the Padres, while Sonny Gray will be going for the Cards. And in NFL quarterback news, Coach Brian Dable, the New York Giants, said Russell Wilson will be the starting QB over Jackson Dart, Tommy DeVito, and Jameis Winston. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, we got some big news this morning. Hey, how's everyone doing? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. And this morning, I got an email around 8 a.m. that said, in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy, NASCAR will once again be making history by hosting a brand new street race at the naval base Coronado as a highlight of the 2026 schedule. With that being said, we bring on Mark Neville, who's the CEO of Sports San Diego, sportssandiego.org for details. But Mark, I believe this is your first time on this iteration of this show. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. How's life, Mark?
You know, it's very exciting that we were able to announce NASCAR coming to San Diego, but it pales in comparison to the excitement I have for being on your show, this new iteration for the first time. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, it's great to have you, Mark. So why don't we go back to the start? Because it was a few weeks ago that we first heard that NASCAR is going to be coming to San Diego, but we did not hear that it was coming out to Coronado. So where did you first get involved with this stuff, and how did it happen to where NASCAR decided, hey, for the 250th anniversary of the Navy, we're going to Coronado?
Yeah, and you know, we were very fortunate that we've been talking with NASCAR and working with them for 16 months now. It is pretty amazing that it did not leak out earlier. We all signed NDAs on it because we wanted to keep this close to the vest, and we did. But you know, it was I remember one time, so long time ago, back in 1997, when Sports San Diego was really just the Holiday Bowl at the time. We did a vintage car race out at North Island. We started it in 97. We had it until 2004, and then Fleet Week took it over. There was a vintage race out there that we did out on the runways in Coronado. And so when they came down, the people in NASCAR are so great, and they just wanted to know what some places that we could look at, because there were tons of places they were considering doing an event. And so we took them to Cabrillo National Monument up there in Point Loma and showed them where we ran that vintage race. And it was a beautiful day like today. I'm not sure what it's like at the beach right now. I'm off the 15, but a beautiful day like today. And from the Cabrillo National Monument, you could see the mountains, you could see the downtown skyline. You saw Coronado in the base, and you saw the bridge in the distance. You saw Mexico and the Coronado Island, crystal blue water. I mean, it was just stunning. And it was I really feel like that was the moment where they're like, this is perfect. It's perfect for what they were looking to do. And, NASCAR is very tight with the military community. And the fact that this is the United States Navy's 250th anniversary next year, all of this, it was perfect. Everything just tied together perfectly. And for me personally, as a lifelong NASCAR fan, I mean, I don't even remember the first time I went, but my dad and I used to go to the Cup race in Riverside. It doesn't exist anymore, but the Riverside International Speedway, I used to go there every year. Harry Gant at the time was my favorite driver. I just thought because he had a cool green car that had skull on the side of it. But it's this whole process has just been great. NASCAR is wonderful, and really happy for Amy Lupo, who's named president of NASCAR San Diego, and the Navy, and it was a lot of work by a lot of people. And the fact that we were able to announce it today, I mean, pinch me. This is a dream come true. NASCAR, this will be one of the biggest events, sports events that San Diego has ever had, period. And NASCAR, there are thousands of fans, some of the most loyal fans of any sport in the world are going to be coming here. And our job here at Sports San Diego is to drive tourism demand, and we do that by, we put on the Holiday Bowl every year and the Rady Children's Invitational and the California State Games. We just had the summer games last weekend. But we also serve as a sports commission to attract and recruit tourism driving sports events. And so, working with NASCAR has just been so wonderful. And my team here did a great job. And it's the fact that we're at this point, and in less than a year from as we sit here right now, we're going to have the sights, the sounds, the colors, just everything that is NASCAR here in our town, right here in San Diego, and out on the base there at North Island, Coronado. It's a dream come true for me and for our organization. We're super proud of the small part that we played in it, and just the partnerships that we're creating for this. This is going to be a big deal for San Diego. I'm so happy for our region and San Diego and our community. We don't have a 70,000 seat stadium anymore to attract a Super Bowl. We don't have an 18, 19,000 seat arena for NBA and NHL and stuff like that. We got to get creative on how we can attract these amazing events. And having NASCAR here, NASCAR weekend San Diego in 2026, June 19 to June 21, that's big. And really, really proud of the whole team to make this happen.
You mentioned your love for NASCAR from being a kid. For people who may not be super familiar with the sport, it's been very growing. What would be like one thing you would say to get people interested in going out to a NASCAR race in San Diego?
It's when you go to a race, it's not just about watching the cars. There's so many other parts to a car race, and I mentioned, and it's I could talk for hours about it, but really, the sounds of NASCAR, the smells at a race are completely unique to anything else that you'll ever smell. The colors, the everything about it. Even if you're not a race fan, you need to go to this because you will be glad you did. The whole festival, it's just, we talk about certain events, even with like our bowl game, it's like we sell it as way more than a bowl game. We talk about the marching bands and the pageantry and the fireworks, the traditions and all that stuff. It's very similar with a NASCAR race. The racing is amazing, and the sounds and the excitement of it is great. But everything that surrounds a NASCAR race, and I'm not exaggerating when I even say the smells at a race are, it's magical. The colors and all the people and the excitement and smiling faces and the loyalty that a lot of fans have for certain drivers and teams. And it's not just the NASCAR. It's not only the Cup race that's going to be competing out at North Island. They're also bringing the Xfinity Series. And then on top of that, they're bringing the Craftsman Truck Series here. There's going to be 3 different racing series that are going to be competing. And this is the second time only that they're at NASCAR, the Cup race is going to be on a street course.
Yeah, that's very cool because it's not going to be just left turns. This is planned out to be a street course, and they're designing the track as we speak. Now, Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, joining us today. He's helping put on this huge NASCAR event that's coming out to Coronado to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. SportsSanDiego.org for more info. Mark, I believe it was 2007, Kevin James grabbed the microphone at the Daytona 500 and gave one of the most electric opening speeches that we've ever seen in human history. Have you put any thought onto who is going to be saying, "Gentlemen, start your engines" at Coronado when this race happens?
Well, it's probably lucky that I'm not going to have a hand in that decision.
Oh, come on.
Sure. But I will say, again, I think it's pretty safe to assume that, with the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy and this event being out on Naval Air Station North Island, I think that's probably the direction they're going to be headed.
So Kevin James is going to be coming? Is that the plan?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But to your last question though, and a lot of people might not even know this, casual race fans, but you talk about the Daytona 500. I mean, those cars and drivers that race at the Daytona 500 are now going to be racing here in San Diego for NASCAR San Diego weekend.
It's very cool.
Mark,
It's a big deal.
When do tickets go on sale? People can purchase them.
So they'll go on sale this fall. I encourage people who don't want to miss out on this opportunity to go to NASCARSanDiego.com. That NASCAR just created that website. Just went live this morning, and you can sign up to get on that list. And then, a lot of people have been asking, if they can somehow get involved in another way, maybe not buying tickets, and they just want to volunteer or something like that. I encourage people to go to our website. It's sportssandiego.org, sports plural, sandiego.org. And you'll see a tab up there that says get involved. And one of those tabs is volunteer. And so you can sign up to be a volunteer, and you'll certainly get information about how you can get involved as a volunteer with this race in 2026.
Mark, you are the absolute best, man. We're lucky to have you in our city. I tell you that for sure. Sports San Diego, you guys put on some of the biggest events every single year. And like you said, this has a chance to become the biggest sporting event that's ever hit San Diego in terms of attendance, in terms of national fanfare. I'm pumped for it. My buddies and I were about to drop an ungodly amount of money to go out to Daytona. And guess what? We're not doing that anymore because NASCAR is coming to San Diego.
Do both. Yeah, do both, man. You can go out to the big old, 2.5 mile oval race at Daytona. I mean, Daytona and San Diego, really, and I've heard people say those are the two tentpole events for NASCAR in 2026. So you can do them both, man. Get the double dip.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon with some more developments. But Mark Neville, you're the absolute best. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, and I'll just say, Ricky Bobby out.
Shake it and bake it, baby. You got to shake it before you bake it. We all know that. Ricky Bobby out indeed. It's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it is time for Long Shot. Sammy Long's going to make us all some money. I have big time faith in that. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 and our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances from Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, and more to be announced September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. You can buy tickets now at AXS.com. Get your tickets now before they sell out. We've got a bunch of texts already today. 70470, start your message with team. We also have a question for the text line heading into hour 2. But so far on the show from the 619, we just need anyone better off the bench who's not named Trenton Brooks. He's 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position this season. How was he our best option? Yeah, had a pinch hit opportunity today late and did not come through. Look, everybody's rooting for him. He's from Alpine. You want him to do well, but he ain't it. At least he hasn't been so far.
No, I mean, yesterday you had the chance to have Maldonado.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Martin Maldonado's an excellent player because people have been bagging on the catching for the Padres, but like since the All-Star break in a small sample size have been pitting all right. I mean, he can't be the answer. If that's who's coming in the 9th inning of the World Series to pinch hit, what are we doing here?
Yeah. 858. If you guys want, you can hire me for free to help you run your RV booth at the race next year. I'm also a bartender and a chiropractor, so I can help in many ways. Dude, Sammy loves chiropractors.
I love chiropractors. What's your name, man?
Yeah, 858. Let Sammy know. 858 also said Fletch needs to read the NFL countdown timer to open up every single show because hearing it makes my heart burn and my depression go away. You want an update on it? 42 days, 11 hours, 10 minutes, and 39 seconds away from NFL 2025. 619. I also heard the Padres have been in talks to trade Cronenworth, move him, and get some flexibility financially. Have you heard anything? Just what Kevin Acee and Dennis Lynn have written about, that Jake Cronenworth is reportedly being asked about from other teams. Now, Eric Hosmer on Twitter yesterday, everyone's favorite Padre, said, for those of you who are just joining the party, that means the Padres are trying to trade Jake Cronenworth. And I do agree with Eric Hosmer on this one. The news going out there that teams are having interest in Cronenworth means AJ Preller is telling teams that Cronenworth is available. And 760 said, ask Mark Neville if they're going to bring the UFC here. We didn't ask him, but that's a damn good idea.
I don't know why. I was talking with my boys about this. Why there's not more UFC and boxing fights here. There's a massive fan base for it. Okay. You go to any bar in San Diego when there's a UFC fight night or a big boxing card and everyone's watching it.
I think part of it is what Mark was talking about. We don't really have the space for it.
But like I went to Pechanga to watch the Never fight, absolutely packed. People were all over. Could you imagine Snapdragon if they had some massive fight or something at night? It's the city sets up for it. It's not like
perfect weather year round.
Right. You're not worried about weather. You can put it outside. It's not like it's raining here. It's not like Seattle where you're like, you literally couldn't schedule it.
I don't know that the UFC's ever done anything outside. I know boxing does.
Boxing's done outside. They've done. Well, no. The UFC in Abu Dhabi, they did. Remember they did the outside.
That was Fight Island, but that was inside.
No. Remember they did the one outside. They put it on the water. They did one outside. They need to think about it.
It's not a bad idea. And Viejas holds what, 14,400 something.
Yeah, Viejas.
You could do a fight night. I don't know that you could do a main card.
And the thing about Viejas, which would be cool, is because you sit down. Like, there's not really a bad seat in the house the way it's built. You could like sell tickets legit at the top, and people would be interested because you'd be looking down the cage.
Well, 760 next time we will let Mark Neville know that he should bring the UFC here next. All right, Sammy, we got some long shots. Did we win yesterday? I didn't even look.
2 of 3. First off, I gave you the fact that I'm blanking out. Christopher Sanchez was going to have more than 6 strikeouts. He had 12. He went the entire game. Feeling very good about myself. Miz sold it. Miz Eduardo Rodriguez went over on outs. I knew that was going to happen because they were going to try to up his trade value. And then Miz had 7 when I looked. I needed less than 6.
He finished with 7 strikeouts yesterday.
And the crazy thing about it is they didn't, like, the Mariners won the game. I knew that there would be a little regression, but
dang. All right, well, it's time to make some money. How about we hit it, Sammy?
Let's see. Underdogs? No, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
All right, Sammy.
Text line, this is for you.
Will Eric Hosmer be an all-star this season?
Yeah, the 619 was asking for that. The answer, shockingly, is no. Eric Hosmer's not going to be an all-star this season.
What?
By the way, our circuit trip has gotten more intense. I don't know if I've told you this yet, but now I got college buddies who are going to come out to Vegas with us.
Yes, I'm excited. Well, I'm very excited for this, by the way, because they will keep you up. Because Fletch I'm very excited for this trip. Circa, I'm absolutely stoked. I can't believe we're not out there yet. And we've lamented the fact that John and Jim wasted their opportunity out there. And then this guy, Fletch, I'm very excited. I go with my good friend to Vegas. He goes, I think night one I'm going to have to turn in by 9 or 10. I go, 9 or 10? What? Why would we be turning in at 9 or 10 on the first night in Vegas?
It's a work night.
Dude, who cares? We'll roll up to the thing 5 minutes before. And then his buddies are coming, so now it's good. Now they'll force him to stay up.
Demi on YouTube is saying, do you guys have a voice modulator going on the mics? Both of you sound low. I turned on the iHeart app and you sound normal, but on YouTube you're both pitched a third to a fifth lower. So we sound more sexy and more manly on
sound
YouTube.
More sensual. Demi, I appreciate that. We will try to get that figured out.
Thanks for looking out, bro. Where are we going, Sammy?
Okay. I know it's the big bad Dodgers, but I do feel confident about this pick. Tyler Glasnow, more than 7 pitches, strikeouts. I tried to find his out total.
Oh, this game's starting in like 15 minutes. We got to hustle.
15 minutes, exactly. So a lot of the games, it's a Wednesday, it's a day game. A lot of the games are in progress. We have limited to choose from today. But Tyler Glasnow, more than 7 pitches, strikeouts. Tell you why. The Dodgers bullpen's been an abject disaster. And they've been having injuries left and right. Tanner Scott got hurt the other night. Ben Kasparius got hurt last night. They had to use a bunch of arms because in last night's game, the Twins kept having a lead, but the Dodgers kept coming back. So they kept putting high leverage arms in, and then they ended up losing the game. So I think Tyler Glasnow is going to have to go a long ways. I didn't find the out total. If you find it, please let me know. So we're going to go more than 7 pitches, strikeouts. He had a really nice first 2 starts back from injury. I think Glasnow builds on it. And honestly, the Dodgers got to rely on Glasnow because Yamamoto got 8 up yesterday. He has not been the ace that he was the first half of the season. All right, Max Fried, more than 4.5 pitches, strikeouts. Low number for me. Max Fried is one of the most not underrated. I think one of my favorite pitchers to watch in Major League Baseball. This number's low because his last start he had 2. I believe he had 3 the start before and 2 the start before that. 7 the previous ones. He was on a little bit of a tear there. We're going over though because the Yankees had to use about 6-7 pitchers last night. A lot of the bullpen was heavily taxed. They won a narrow game over the Blue Jays 5-4. I think Fried goes a little bit. He is the ace of this staff. Him and Rodon are being asked to step up in Garrett Cole's absence. They signed Max Fried in the offseason to a massive, and I believe it was a 9-year contract. So more than 4.5 pitching strikeouts. And then I'm gonna go. I don't usually go more than on first inning runs. Okay, but we're gonna try something a little bit different because long shots. We've had a tough week. Lucas Giolito and Jesus Luzardo, more than a first inning run allowed. Boston, Philly. We're going off last night. Christopher Sanchez was phenomenal. Absolutely shut down this Boston lineup, who's been one of the hottest in baseball over the last month. I think we see a little bit of regression the other way. Jesus Luzardo's a very good pitcher, but they see him a lot. And Lucas Giolito was a guy at the trade deadline that everyone was trying to get last year from a pitcher spot, but not quite the same pitcher he was a few years ago. I believe he was with the White Sox. I think we're going to see some offense tonight early and often in this game. Remember, you got to go to Schwarber, you got to go to Harper, you got to go to Roman Anthony, you got to go to the top of these lineups. I think they should be seen inning in the first run.
All right, we got a lot of texts coming in about NASCAR, about plans for it. Sammy, run through your picks real quick.
Tyler Glasnow, more than 7 pitches, strikeouts. Max Fried, more than 4.5 pitches, strikeouts. Lucas Giolito, Jesus Luzardo, more than a 1 run in the first inning.
All right, coming up in hour number 2, we have not only Creed tickets to give away, but we have a job for all of you listening right now. We're going to play you the Kevin James introduction at 2007 Daytona, and we need to try to draft who would be the best person in all of San Diego, history, to get on the mic and say, gentlemen, start your engines when NASCAR is in San Diego. Text line start filling up, 70470. Start your message with team. And then maybe later this week, we'll have a competition on the talkback mic to see which one of you can do it the best. We're going to plan it all out. All right, San Diego Sports 760, hour number 2 is coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Visit them online today at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give them a call at 858-376-1299. Gary Cooper is here today. And Gary, I wanted to ask you about a phrase you threw out a couple weeks ago. It's exact rate. What does that mean within the home buying or refinancing process?
I know that's something I never really talk about except for when I'm in front of my customers. So this might be good for your listeners. I have the ability to lock in not only your interest rate, but also your term at an exact rate and term, meaning that you don't have to go back to a 30-year if you've already paid 3 or 4 years into your loan. So I can refinance, you can take cash out, pay off debt, whatever you need to do, and I can put you on a 26-year term, a 27-year term, and that goes for the interest rate too. So I can customize your circumstance specifically to what your needs are. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to go back to a 30-year term if you don't want to. If you're into it for a 24-year term, I could do a new 24-year term. And the interest rate is going to be exact, meaning that you're not paying any points or additional cost to get that advertised or that gimmick interest rate. So it's all customized.
Get straight mortgage answers by calling Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty today, 858-376-1299, or visit them online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Thank you, Gary.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Padres lost today 3-2 to the Miami Marlins. They'll be back tomorrow for a 4-game set in St. Louis, taking on the Cardinals. And top stories of the day. Russell Wilson is the Giants starting quarterback per coach Brian Dable. Tommy DeVito, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart will all be competing for whatever that means, even though he's the starter. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, it's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time trying us out, we do appreciate it. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We are with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. The news of the day in San Diego, outside of the Padres dropping 2 straight to the hapless Marlins, is the fact that NASCAR is coming to San Diego in June of 2026. We talked with Mark Neville about that a little bit earlier. He's the CEO of Sports San Diego, who was instrumental in bringing NASCAR to San Diego. And that's going to be a freaking party, man. Text line has been blowing up about it. 619 says the NASCAR is coming to town. Damn, I got to start pretending to like PBR and work on my farmer's tan. Yes, you do. He also says NASCAR is coming. Time for me to grow a mullet and hit on my sister. I would advise against the sister part, but growing a mullet, that's the plan, man. Sammy, you could grow a mullet. You got hair.
Mullet is the worst thing to happen to society since ever.
Do you think Theo Vaughn is funny?
Sometimes.
Then you need to stop hating on mullets so much.
No, mullets are horrible.
Mullets are awesome, dude. Shut up.
You fit in with that whole redneck.
If I could, I would grow a mullet tomorrow.
You would look absurd with a mullet.
Well, I can't grow one anyway. I could probably get a skullet going. That's about it.
Mullets are so I can't say what I
can't even
say what I want to say.
Mullets are awesome, and rednecks are awesome.
Mullets are an atrocious thing. Okay, have long hair, great. Short hair, great. Medium, whatever you want. There's nothing about a mullet that
you are such a city boy.
Yes, I am. Mullet. I was raised in cities. I'm not. You pull up with a mullet, like, dude. Everyone's like, look at that.
I remember I was like, hey, Sammy, we should go check out the Lakeside Rodeo. And he was like, rodeo?
He thought
F off.
He thought I was going to go to a rodeo on the NFL draft. Like, that is the craziest thing to ask someone I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was like day 2 of the NFL draft.
You don't watch the entire NFL draft? All the
important stuff. No, I was at the rodeo, dude. It's more fun.
That's just sad.
I mean,
first off, you should be studying. You're a sports talk radio host.
I need you to open up your mind a little bit more and stop thinking that rednecks are just, country people who don't know anything.
Well, the text line agrees.
The smartest people on the planet.
The text line agrees with me.
All right, the other question for where does the text line agree?
I can't read some of the texts that are
probably
coming
not. That's a bad one. All right, the question for the text line for hour number 2. We're going to keep this thread going throughout the whole show. San Diego, celebrity or otherwise, probably needs to be pretty well known. Who would do the best job saying, gentlemen, start your engines at NASCAR 2026 on the Navy base at Coronado? Sammy threw out Joe Musgrove. That's not a bad pick. But you need someone who's going to fully sell out for this. Text line already saying John Quintero should do it. The coach would be good at it. I think Travis Dale
would be a legend.
Travis Dale would knock it out of the park, but he's not famous enough. We need someone who is a famous all-time San Diego.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk would be good, but would he sell out? Tony Hawk seems like kind of shy sometimes.
Yeah, but Tony Hawk, like if Tony Hawk did it, people would be like, that's awesome.
Tony Hawk would be sick. You know who would have been great is Bill Walton. Unfortunately, Bill Walton's no longer with us. Do we have a little taste of Kevin James doing it before we get to the big 3 here of hour number 2? Like, this is what we're talking about. So this was Daytona 2007. Kevin James was promoting the movie I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. And he got brought out to the starting line and gave one of the most legendary moments in American sports history. Take a listen.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
You know what never occurred to me?
Tell me.
You kind of look like Kevin James.
I will take that as a badge of honor.
No, it's not even a shot. You kind of do.
Hitch is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I'll take that and run with it. Grown Ups makes me laugh every time it's on TV.
760 is Jerry Curl over mullet, 100%. Now, Jerry Curl, that's a hairdo.
All right, so who would it be? 70470, start your message with team. Who do you want on the starting line saying, gentlemen, start your engines?
Joe Musgrove, San Diego kid.
Padres. He'd be wearing a Padres basketball jersey. It'd be cool.
It would be cool. It would be, but I think Joe Musgrove would be, so I think Phillip Rivers would be fantastic.
858 just did it. Will Ferrell as Ron Burgundy.
Oh, yeah. That's
probably going to happen.
That needs to be now. Well, he has done it before, though, I think. Farrell's done it. I don't know if he's done it as Burgundy, but I think he did it before.
That would be so epic if he got out there as Ron Burgundy.
Well, of course, that's the answer.
That is the answer. I don't. It might be a waste of time if anyone else texts again. I think that's it. If you got a better one than Ron Burgundy, let us know. But 858, that was a home run, man. There was a while. Just a quick story before the big 3. iHeartRadio was doing Anchorman podcast where Will Ferrell as Ron Burgundy was hosting a podcast. It was hysterical, man. But before they launched it, Will Ferrell went on a tour of like every radio station through iHeart around the country. And so I was sitting right there, Sammy, And I got a phone call from our boss at the time who said, hey, Ron Burgundy is going to be calling your phone in 5 minutes. You got to record an interview with him. And I'm sitting there like, wait, who's calling the phone? A Ron Burgundy impersonator? And they're like, no. Will Ferrell in character is going to be calling your phone. And so that phone right there lit up. And I was like, oh, I'm about to talk to Will Ferrell. What am I doing here? And I answered the phone. I was like, hey, at the time it was Extra 1360. This is Ben. And he's like, this is Ron Burgundy. I'm scheduled for an interview right now with a man named Judson Richards. Is he there by any chance? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, Ron, here I go. Let me put you on hold. It was Will Ferrell. Did not break character for a second. It was amazing.
I love that one thing of Ferrell when he was on, he'd some like random like local news station in Milwaukee or something, or like it was totally random. It wasn't like LA or anything. And he just went on and they didn't tell anyone. And he just sat in the entire show, like 3-4 hour show.
Yeah, he's amazing when he does stuff like that. 858 says Jimmy Johnson, no brainer. That's a good one. 619, Rich Ornberger should do it in Daisy Dukes. 951,
fantastic.
It should be Jimmy Johnson. Actually, Derek Togerson is going to be jumping on the show at 1:30. He just got done interviewing Jimmy Johnson, so we'll ask him about that as well. All right, we got time for a quick, really fast big three. Sammy, what do you think?
Let's just put it on the other side.
We'll put it on the other side. Keep the text rolling in, but NASCAR come to San Diego. That's freaking cool, man. June 2026. Cannot wait for it. Sammy and I are going to be there. I'm wearing overalls. Sammy's going to grow out a mullet. It's going to be great.
You will not see me with a mullet.
I think you should grow out a mullet.
Dude, mullets look horrible.
What's wrong with a mullet, dude?
I'm sorry if you have a mullet. I'm sorry.
Business in the front, party in the back.
I know you're going to be like, screw you, Sammy. I don't care what you think, which is fine.
Screw you, Sammy. I don't care what you think. Mullets are cool.
There is not someone who has worn a mullet who it's like, it looks great on. You wear like long hair, you wear short hair, whatever you want. Mullets are too like, it just looks trashy.
There's a Chiefs quarterback right now on your roster who has a mullet, and it's awesome.
Just Gardner Minshew?
Yes.
I'm not saying that looks good.
Billy Ray Cyrus had a badass mullet. Brad Pitt for a little bit had a mullet. Dolly Parton, one of the most iconic mullets of all time. Kurt Russell had a mullet. Joe Dirt had a mullet.
Hey, Joe Dirt's one of the greatest characters of all time. I don't think David Spade kept the mullet after the movie.
Hulk Hogan had a skullet. Bald on top, party in the back.
Mullet's a rough look. I'm sorry.
Mullets are cool, dude. You need to open up your brain a little bit. You need to be a little more accepting.
I'm really excited about NASCAR, but I'm having real reservations. I mean, some of our listeners are texting it as well.
David Bowie,
about
Rod Stewart,
about going to this if you're going to be naked wearing overalls.
Patrick Swayze had a mullet in Roadhouse.
Patrick Swayze had a 24 pack.
Patrick Swayze's like,
if you have those kind of abs, you can wear whatever you want.
Your mom was in love with Patrick Swayze. I promise you that.
Patrick, he had a 24 pack. If you have that, you can do whatever you want with your hair.
Paul McCartney.
What? Okay. He did not have Paul McCartney did not have a mullet.
He had a little bit of a mullet.
No.
It was party up front, but it was.
This has gone off the rails.
Sammy,
Paul McCartney has never had a mullet.
You need to be a little more accepting. That's all I'm going to say.
I hope people are tuning in right now and they heard me yell that Paul McCartney doesn't have a mullet.
It is San Diego Sports 760. We'll get back to the sports, I promise. And really, this is all stemming from sports because NASCAR is coming to San Diego in 2026, baby. Get those beers out of the cooler. Get the RV out of the shed. Bring it on down to Coronado because we're having a party. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a blast. San Diego Sports 760. When we come back, it's the big three. When we come back, Creed tickets are on the line. This is a fun little Wednesday, Sammy. I like this show. All that coming up live on the iHeartRadio app. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believes in us, who challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by donors. Choose, nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators who are shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. My favorite teacher is my wife. My second favorite teacher is my mother.
Aww.
They're great teachers. They both of them are. It'd be pretty sweet if Kendall won $5,000, although I don't think she's qualified for this. But if you have a favorite teacher, maybe one of your kids' teachers.
Did you just say that she's not talented enough to be?
No, I don't think she's qualified to win, unfortunately, because of me. Otherwise, she'd be a shoo-in. But nominate your favorite teacher today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. I'll be honest, in however many years I've been working here, like, the Rady Children's Give-a-thon is the coolest days of the year we do every single year. This is the coolest one-off promotion we've ever done. I love that we're doing this. Teachers are underpaid, underappreciated. And if we could do this and give someone $5,000 here in San Diego, that is a very, very cool thing. So again, iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Nominate your favorite teacher there to win $5,000. All right, text line is going off saying that Jimmy Johnson, who was born and raised in El Cajon, who was racing here from the time he was a kid, who I believe has won 7 NASCAR events in his career. I could be wrong on that number. But Jimmy Johnson should be who's introducing NASCAR and saying, gentlemen, start your engines down in Coronado. And that's probably a really, really good answer. However, I think I like Ron Burgundy as the answer.
Yeah, I like Ron Burgundy better. You already have a bunch of NASCAR drivers. I don't think we need another NASCAR driver announcing it.
Well, maybe Jimmy Johnson does something like the ceremonial first lap. You know, there's lots of opportunities for Jimmy Johnson. And I promise you, I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying, like, Ron Burgundy has the swagger, has the capability to get out there and get the thing started in the correct manner. But keep those coming in. 70470. Start your message with Team 619. NASCAR is coming to San Diego. Time to choose some backer and get some American flag tints to cover the entirety of my back window glass. I like it, 619. You're starting to fit in. Sammy would never.
I'm all for America. You're not going to catch it. If you wear overalls, like, we need to really get in the gym if you're going to wear overalls.
There's nothing wrong with overalls.
No, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the overalls. I'm saying
slightly overweight and wearing overalls.
No, I'm saying if you're gonna rock overalls, it's like having really long hair.
858. Don't forget Uncle Jesse from Full House and MacGyver both had mullets too, and we're all better off for it.
It's like having long hair. Like, I used to be kind of chunky and I had long hair. Didn't work. It makes your face look fat. But if you're like, you see people who are like cut up and they got long hair, it looks great.
Sammy, you really need to buy into mullets. You need to buy into everything country.
I'm never.
I wish my grandparents still had their farm so I could show you the entire process of butchering a chicken and harvesting everything from it. You would have a great time. You really would.
Go outside, nerd.
Yeah.
Get out. Go. I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless comments. Go on.
You do need to.
I let Walton Goggins do my speaking for me.
He'll touch grass one time. He's talking to you. Go outside, nerd. Get out of the city one time.
You know what? I'm gonna get canceled. So right, let's start the big three.
Let's hit the big three. Go ahead, smash that.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
Would you let me just take you out to Lakeside one time and go on a tour of a buddy's farm? Whenever. I just want you to see that it's a simpler way of life. It's a better way of life.
Well, then why don't you do it? Why don't you live out there?
I like my job. I like talking sports. It's not like I really work for a living.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been figuring out.
All right, enough hillbilly stuff. Okay, we got Russell Wilson, named starter by Brian Dable. Today, he said others will be competing for the job. Tommy DeVito, Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart, who threw a pick six in practice today that New York is not happy about. Do you like them giving it to Russell Wilson off the jump?
I think every quarterback in this draft class needs some seasoning. No one was excited that Cam Ward was the first overall pick. Tennessee wasn't excited that Cam Ward was the first overall pick. This was a rough quarterback class. Russ probably deserves the job. I would say Jameis deserves the job after that. And then we could talk about Jackson Dart. The New York Giants had a really good draft. I'm excited about the New York Giants' future. And that's probably the first time since Eli was on the team that you could say that. And I think Giants fans should be excited too. But there's no reason to rush Jackson Dart out there. You need to wait, see what you have on the offensive line, see what kind of talent just came up in this draft with Abdul Carter, And then if everything starts working out and Jackson Dart is wowing you in practice, that's when you can sort of slow play him in. But if I'm a New York Giants fan, if I'm Brian Dable, I'm letting Jackson Dart sit for an entire year.
See, I'm the complete exact opposite. You're going to be picking toward the top of the draft, likely to begin with. So why are you starting a guy on Russell Wilson who couldn't work with Pittsburgh with an offense, with a defense?
Wait, why do you say he didn't work with Pittsburgh?
Because he didn't work. Did they go win playoff games?
No, but
they got shredded in Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs.
But he played pretty well. Not in that game, but down the
not the last month of the season. They lost to the Chiefs, Texans, and Ravens all in a 3-game stretch.
Yeah, but Russ was not bad with Pittsburgh. I think that's a common misconception.
He wasn't good either,
but he played well enough. He got him to the postseason.
Not the last 2 months of the season.
Pittsburgh wasn't built to be a Super Bowl winning team last year anyway.
But if they had
playoffs was a big deal.
I disagree. Maybe not a Super Bowl winning team, but you could have at least won a game. They had the best defense in football through most of the season. They had George Pickens. They had a good running game.
They got their ass kicked to Baltimore. That's not an embarrassing thing. Baltimore kicked a lot of ass.
I know, but when they had a shot to legit be the 1 seed going into December, and they lost every game in December, and then the first game of the playoffs, and Russell Wilson was starting quarterback. Justin Fields, say what you want about Justin Fields, but he was 4-0 to start off. I don't understand why you're giving this to Russell Wilson. Maybe you don't think that he's ready, but if you're the Giants, knowing you're probably picking at the top of the draft again next year, why would you not start Jackson Dart, see if what you have, see if he's the guy, knowing that next year is an extremely good quarterback class. So if you don't like what you have in Jackson Dart, you're going to see what you have and can draft a new quarterback. But were you going to wait 6 games till you're out of the NFC East and then throw him in there?
Russell Wilson's a potential Hall of Famer.
Okay, but not going forward. He's not a quarterback that's going to change a franchise going forward. He's a great player in that he won a Super Bowl, almost won 2, but those were his Seattle days. Pete Carroll knew what he was doing moving off of him.
I mean, he's 36 years old. You got to see what you got with Russ. That's the same theory I had on him with the Steelers. He was injured to start the year, but you had to see what you got once he got in there.
Okay, if it didn't work with Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin, one of the most well-run organizations in the league, how was it going to work with the New York Giants?
I'm just saying Russell Wilson is far light years ahead of Jackson Dart where he is right now.
I know, but why wouldn't you want to see what you had with Jackson Dart?
Because you don't want to rush him out there and ruin him. Sam Darnold got rushed out there. He got ruined by the New York Jets for a long time. So I think it's the smart move to keep Jackson Dart.
Yeah, but they also didn't have an offensive-minded head coach that was circling it. All right, college football. Quarterback Castellanos from Florida. Florida State said they don't, talking about Alabama, who they play week 1, said the team, Alabama, doesn't have Nick Saban to save them in week 1. There's been a lot of kind of going back and forth about how that now that Nick Saban's gone, the SEC is not the same. Really, it's just Kirby Smart in the SEC. What do you make of the Big Ten and everyone, the ACC? There's been a lot of comments from ACC Media Day, Big Ten Media Day, people chirping the SEC and how it seems like the Big Ten's getting their way in terms of the college football playoff picture going forward.
It's kind of awesome that the SEC is becoming everyone's villain right now. And I like that because for decades of my life, I couldn't stand the SEC. And now it feels like everyone else is jumping on board. Look, the Big Ten is set up better for the next college football season. I mean, between Penn State and Texas, those are 2 teams right there who I think are easy national championship picks. Sammy, did I hear you say yesterday that you were going to be throwing some money on Penn State to win it all this year?
I like Penn State because they have a really good quarterback and the best 1-2 punch and running backs in the entire college football.
I mean, the SEC keeps whining. They're making themselves look worse and worse. I don't mind how college football is setting up at all as of right now.
Yeah, it just feels like the SEC has been chirping for a long time now, talking about how they were the sole conference. And for a long time, to be fair to them, they were, because the Pac-12 was just very mediocre. It was very SC, maybe Oregon would pop off. There's a lot of good teams, not a lot of great teams. And then it was really up to if Ohio State won something or someone else, or if Notre Dame got in. But until last year, Notre Dame had been really awful in the college football playoff. But last year, I mean, the last 2 seasons, there hasn't been an SEC team in the championship game. Nick Saban's gone. Georgia, is still Georgia, but feels like even this year, they're really relying on Texas. And let's not forget, even though we think Arch Manning's the truth, we think he's going to be a superstar level player, we don't know that yet. We haven't really seen him play. I think Penn State's a real live dog. I think Notre Dame's really good if they can get the quarterback right. Hell, Ohio State won the championship last year. They got the local kid, Julian Sayin, starting for them. So I think the Big Ten is really on the uptick, and I think that it's kind of fun seeing the SEC get shots taken at them. Okay, to the Padres. So not how we wanted it to go the last 24 hours. Lose twice to the Marlins, win 1 game on that little, set against the Marlins, excuse me. Now they start a 4-game stretch against the Cardinals in St. Louis and then back home for the New York Mets. what record needs to happen over the next week over both NL wildcard teams right now.
How many games are we talking?
Seven games. Well, the Cardinals aren't a playoff team right now, but they're in the NL wildcard hunt.
4 against the Cardinals, right? In St. Louis.
Yep.
And then they're back home for 3.
And then they get the Cardinals again.
I think you got to win 5 games. I think you got to go 5-2. Like, you're at the point right now where if you would have swept the Marlins, which is what they needed to do, we could have had a different conversation about this, but I feel like you need to win 5 of the next 7. Padres not taking advantage of the Dodgers stumbling was bad news. All right, Derek Togerson is coming up next. He's going to be talking about a lot of things. Derek Togerson is at the Chargers training camp. I want to get some info on that and how it felt being in San Diego. Derek Togerson also is going to talk some NASCAR with the race coming to San Diego here in just a year's time. Right now, your chance to win a pair of tickets, or a 4-pack of tickets, to go see Creed at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater coming up on August 6th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Caller number 7. You're going to the show, 877-767-4760. Derek Togerson coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm already looking at my Circa Million picks, and all you got to do is pick 5 games against the spread each week of the NFL season. It's $1,000 to enter. Get 10 of your friends going $100 a pop. Get another friend going $500 a pop. Whatever you want to do. Maybe you're a high roll. Maybe you go 1,000 yourself. But all you got to do is pick 5 games against the spread each week. So on opening night, I want some action on Philly Dallas. Maybe Dallas just feels like a game Dallas might win, +7 against Philly, defending champs. We've seen teams defending their banner struggle opening night, i.e. the Patriots losing to Kansas City in 2017, Kansas City losing to Detroit a couple of years ago. Maybe like Washington to cover, mud stop the Giants with Russell Wilson, who we were just talking about, -6.5. Maybe you think the Chiefs continue their AFC West dominance over the Chargers by 2.5 in Brazil. I think that's a lock. That's a Sammy lock for the day. But all you gotta do is pick 5 games against the spread each week instead of doing side bets with your boys where they may stiff you on payment. Play Circa Million. Listen, I also get it if you're busy. You don't have time to pick 5 games against the spread each week. This is where Circa Survivor comes into play. All you need to do is pick 1 game each week. Don't need to worry about the spread, point total, none of that. All you gotta do is pick them to win. Once you burn a team, you can't pick them again. It's $1,000 buy-in. The fun thing about doing with the friend group is that one person gets to make the pick at the end of the day. And if they're wrong and they sell everyone, you get to make fun of them for the rest of the year. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere, and win your money now with Circa. This was sponsored by Lexus El Cajon. Padres dropped to the Marlins 3-2 today. They lose the series against the Marlins, only winning one game. Start a 4-game set against the Cardinals, who are a few games back of them in the NL wildcard picture. Yu Darvish will be on the mound for the Padres, while Sonny Gray will be going for the Cards. And Russell Wilson was named the starting quarterback today for the New York Giants, per Brian Dable, over Jackson Dart, who was the first-round pick of the team. Experience true luxury from Lexus El Cajon, where you'll get a great deal during the Golden Opportunity Sales event on any Lexus in stock. See why they're ranked #1 for customer service. Visit LexusElCajon.com. Bring luxury home from Lexus El Cajon.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. I really like this guy. His name's Derek Togerson. He works over at MEC7. Share a parking lot with him, actually. But Togs was also out at the Chargers training camp yesterday. He was there, boots on the ground at USD, as the Los Angeles Chargers held a practice in San Diego. Derek Togerson, first question for you. How weird was that?
Dude, it was weird. Like, you tried to not make it weird, but you just can't help it, especially because, anybody who's been around that team for any kind of time, of covering it or watching it, it was just odd, seeing them back there acting like nothing had ever happened.
I saw a picture. It's just real quick, Derek. I saw a picture of a guy wearing a Joey Bosa jersey up on the mountain looking down on Torero Stadium, and he looks sad. But it is bizarre thinking that team who left here however many years ago comes back to do it, and it just felt weird to me, and I'm glad it felt weird to you being there, because I couldn't imagine even going out there for it.
Yeah, no, it was. You can't help but have it bring back all those bad memories, right? Like, this should have been here the entire time. You should have, even talking to Justin Herbert, he was like, man, I know how special this place was. Like, I've heard the stories. I see it out here. Like, I feel it. Even being able to practice here was an amazing experience. And you just couldn't help but think, like, it should have never been different, And by the way, not a single member of the Spanos family had the guts to show their face at all around there. So there's that part of it, and obviously they're not going to, but it was just, it was great to see professional football back in San Diego, just from a purely vacuum standpoint. But you're right, you can't be mad at the guys. There's only one guy on the team who actually played as a San Diego Charger, and that was Denzel Perryman, the linebacker who re-signed with them last year. He was drafted here, second round pick back in 14-15, somewhere in there. But it's just like, man, it stunk. It really did just stink, acting like this is just a regular old training camp practice where they're like, okay, but why we've been missing this for a very long time. I kind of opened up a couple old wounds, man. I'm not gonna lie.
How do you, Togerson, how do you see the Chargers actually doing this year in the AFC West? Do you think they're a legit shot in the AFC or no?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, look at the talent, the roster, and the coach. Yes, they definitely have a chance. The quarterback alone gives you a chance. They have a good roster. They have a really good defense. Derwin James looked like he was flying around. By the way, Khalil Mack, I think, is aging in reverse, because I watched that dude blow up multiple plays in practice already. It was the first day with pads, but they weren't actually scrimmaging. But I mean, Khalil looks like he's just coming out of college as a rookie. He's explosive as you could ever imagine him being, and he's a great dude too. So they're gonna be good. Whoever comes out of there is going to be a very, very good football team. Just the Chargers do have a chance to win that division, although I don't think I would call them the favorite right now.
All right, how about some really positive San Diego news? And Derek Togerson with NBC7 joining us today. Togs got announced this morning around 8 o'clock that the naval base out in Coronado is going to be hosting a NASCAR event to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy. They're going to have a full-blown NASCAR event out on Coronado. How do you see this going, and does it have potential to be the biggest sporting event in San Diego history?
Biggest in San Diego history, don't know.
By attendance. By
attendance, that's going to be the weird part. That's where I was going with this. Is they are going to allow fans on there. I talked to Ben Kennedy, the Chief Innovation Officer with NASCAR, just this morning, as well, and Jimmy Johnson as well, the 7-time El Cajon native NASCAR champion. And they said, yeah, we're going to have no limitations on seats or tickets, people can go. You can go right now to NASCARSanDiego.com and put your reserve down for tickets right now. So they say there's not going to be a cap on it. What they don't know, they don't even know what the course fully looks like yet, although they say it's going to be about a 3-mile street track. So we don't know where the grandstands are going to be. We don't know how many there are going to be. We don't know where pit road is going to be. But when you're talking about a 3-mile track, that gives you a whole bunch of opportunities to put people out there. But you're also talking about an active military base. And I've been lucky enough to have been on them a few times. In fact, I'm going later this evening. And you got to go through, there's one bottleneck where all the traffic has to come through. Now, unless they open up a whole different gate somewhere to get more traffic or more cars in there, or there's a shuttle service that's going to bring people in and there's parking elsewhere, I don't know. So I don't know how many people with security for a base are going to actually be able to get out there, at least in a timely manner. So it could go either way. It could be either, yes, you have so much space, you could get literally 150,000 people in there, but you're also talking about getting 150,000 people into and out of an active military installation with a very small ingress and egress point. So I could not begin to tell you what it's actually going to look like when it comes to attendance. What I do know is anybody who is lucky enough to be there, it's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be really, really cool because you're talking about having the Pacific Ocean and F-18s and aircraft carriers as the backdrop to a NASCAR race. I mean, I didn't even fathom something like this. It's going to be really cool.
Derek, are you? I'm curious. Are you grow up a NASCAR guy, or are you just kind of new getting into the sport?
Oh, I love NASCAR. I've loved it ever since I was working in Philadelphia 25 years ago and went to my first race at Dover. It's awesome. I've been a NASCAR fan for a quarter century now. I love it.
Do you think it's going to be? Is it mostly people traveling in, which obviously that's what Sports San Diego wants to do? They want to drive tourism, or do you think it's going to be a largely San Diego event?
Again, I could not begin to tell you. It's June. It's Father's Day weekend, right? They're going to have the whole thing. Craftsman Truck Series on Friday, which is going to be a military day. Xfinity Cup Series race on Saturday, and then the Cup Series race, the big one, on Sunday. What I do know is NASCAR fans can be a little bit nutty. They're going to be driving and coming in from all over the place. So I think if it truly is able to open it up to whoever wants tickets, and you're going to see people flying in from Alabama, from Florida, from Tennessee, from Kentucky. They'll be coming in from all over, mostly the South, to see this race. But you're also going to have a bunch of folks who are, military families. So it's a chance to get on the base for people who were stationed here who have family in Pennsylvania to come out and see, maybe just visit with them and see a NASCAR race. So yeah, it could be a massively attended event from all over the place. As we do know with San Diego, when there's a major event, I mean, look what happened with the San Diego FC's first match, set a Snapdragon Stadium attendance record. The Seals, when their first match at Chonga Arena, they had 12,000 people in there. So when something is new and big in San Diego, San Diegans really react positively to it. So it could be the best of both worlds. It could be a bunch of folks from here who are going to go out and check it out, but it's also going to be, could be a whole bunch of people from out of town coming in. And at that point, you've got yourself a really, really fun thing. And by the way, if you want to do something really nice for Father's Day for Dad, and he's a NASCAR fan, sending him out to San Diego to watch race on a naval base is not the worst idea in the world. So it could be really awesome.
Do you think, flip it to the Padres real quick, do you think that Dylan Cease is on this team in 2 weeks?
To say that again?
Do you think Dylan Cease will still be on this team with the Padres in 2 weeks?
I don't know. At this point, and it pains me to say it, I kind of hope not. Because they need to make moves. They need to do something. And if you're going to make lateral moves, which everyone around the organization I've talked to says we can't bring in a bunch of money. Any salary that comes in is going to have to be met by a salary going out. Well, Dylan Cease kind of seems like the one that you can do that with. So, him and Luis Ariz and a Robert Suarez are kind of your big game hunting there. So, and somebody else will obviously take a chance on the stuff with Dylan Cease, even though the results in the stuff are not matching up this year. So if you're going to make any kind of substantial move, he's probably the guy that you have to do it with to get somebody in here who can actually help offensively. And then I think you've got enough depth in the pitching staff that you can, live without him, especially to bring in a low-cost order for in another move. So if you put a gun to my head and say, will he be here? I would probably say no. I don't think he'll be here after the trade deadline.
How frustrating are those two games against the Marlins, Derek? It feels like the Dodgers are stumbling, and then you got a 3-game series against the Marlins before you have a stretch of really, really tough games. How frustrating is it that those 2 games were losses to finish up that series?
Well, the Marlins are better than people realize. I mean, we look at them,
are they?
The Marlins, whatever, but no, actually, then people realize they really are. You got some really good pitchers. Sandy Alcantara He put on a nice little audition tape to be traded to the Padres, didn't he? He's like, hey guys, this is what you could get if you come get me. He looked like he started to become Sandy Alcantara again today. So that's, they don't have a lot of offense, but they've got pitching there. For some reason, they've always got pitching there. Problem is, are they going to deal that pitching and then become like the Marlins were used to again? That's the very likely possibility. And that's a guy that a team the Padres should be looking at as a possible trade partner, especially if they do send a Dylan Cease out, get one of those younger controllable pieces back in here. But yeah, the Marlins, they're not a bad baseball team. They're sitting there just a few games under 500. Shockingly, they're only like 5 or 6 out in the wild card right now. So they're a better team than people think they are because they are the Marlins and always talking about selling off pieces. But yes, is it frustrating? Yes. Is it wholly unexpected to go in and drop 2 out of 3 to a team that's got a lot of really good pitching when your offense isn't all that good? No, I'm not surprised.
It's got to be concerning, though, in the next 2 weeks that you're playing the Cardinals and the Mets and the Cardinals again, though, right, in Boston. I mean, considering the trade deadline's coming up.
Well, that's why you got to make sure AJ's getting something done at the trade deadline because, this Cardinals series is going to be massive because either you can bury them, you can keep the status quo and split the 4 games, or they can come and get you. And that's going to be a major problem if that last one happens. I think back to 2021 when the Padres had their season basically end in St. Louis. And that was just one of those things where you're like, God, this feels horrible that this is happening right now. So yeah, the Cardinals are a better than advertised team that people kind of overlooked at the beginning of the year, myself included, who have played kind of over their skis. So you're either going to make the Cardinals into sellers at the trade deadline by taking 3 out of 4, or you're going to let them right back in and maybe they go out and get a piece or 2 that you might want if you drop 3 out of 4. So this series right here, and we say that about all of them, this is the biggest series of the season. And when it goes down to the end of it, it might be the biggest series of the entire season because it's going to put a bunch of people in position for wild card spots and trade deadlines. And these 4 games are massive in the Midwest.
Togs, appreciate you, my guy. What do you have coming up?
I'm going to go out and hop on a shuttle and go out to Neville Air Station, Air Base Coronado, and go and talk to a few NASCAR drivers. So that's going to be a fun little thing. Again, I talked to Jimmy this morning, so check that out on NBC San Diego News at 4 and 6. I'll be out there live from a naval base for the first time in my career, which is actually going to be kind of fun.
Enjoy it, man. Take that in. We got to go out to the Point Loma base and got to tour the Santa Fe submarine, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. So enjoy that, take it in, and have fun. And we'll see you tonight on NBC.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Derek Togerson, one of the best to do it here in San Diego. He's got a lot coming up. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Coming up on the other side, we will wrap this thing up, give a definitive answer on who we think should be the starting line announcer for the NASCAR race in San Diego, and get you ready for John and Jim. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 with our bonus bucks giveaway. Your next chance to win coming up right at 2:00 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportsSD.com. Right before you hear from John and Jim, you will hear that keyword. All right, John Heyman has entered the chat on Dylan C, saying the Padres are listening on Dylan C's with the Yankees, the Mets, the Cubs, and the Red Sox, all among teams who are believed to have checked in. SD is a buyer, but often listens on rentals. Major long shot. So John Heyman and Buster Olney both reporting within the last few hours that Dylan Cease
would go for a lot. Like, I know Cease is kind of the certified patient in San Diego, but on name value alone, he has been known to second half of seasons be better, and he would go for a lot. I really think. Cease, like today, like, was he perfect? No, but I think it's kind of unfair to blame today's loss on the fact that saying Dylan Cease was bad. I mean, I think it's the offense. Like, I disagree with Derek Togerson. He was talking about the Marlins are better than people give them credit for. Yeah, but Sandy Alcantara had a 7+ ERA heading into the game today, and the Padres offense makes him look like Cy Young. So it's a little hard for me to get excited about the next week, considering, yes, the Padres have an opportunity to bury the Cardinals or play against the Mets. We're going to see if this stat heading into the first half of them being 23-36 against teams above 500 is a trend, or if they can buck it. They haven't given us any reason to think that they're going to change it, but hopefully they do.
I'm curious to see what would be coming back for Dylan Cease. Is it prospects or is it Major League Baseball ready talent? Because I think that tells you two very different things about what this team is trying to accomplish this year. All right, a couple more newsy things before we get out of here today. ESPN reportedly nearing a deal to acquire the NFL Network and its iconic show, NFL Red Zone. The deal rumored to be worth over $2 billion. Not saying that's going to change the way you spend your Sundays.
Stephen A. Smith bringing you 7 hours of commercial-free football.
No, the picture is Scott Hansen. It would still be Scott. If you got rid of Scott, it's no longer NFL Red Zone. It's some other crappy show.
ESPN making a power play move. Listen, I love NFL Network. Do you watch Red Zone? Like, I watch Red Zone, obviously not when the Chiefs are on. Like, I'm not watching Red Zone.
Red Zone is most frequently my main TV, and the 49ers get the side TV.
That's shameful.
I need to know everything that's going on.
What do you you don't have the Niners on the main TV?
Niners are on the standalone TV. Red Zone gets the main TV.
No.
Yes.
I could give no. The Chiefs are on the main TV, and Scott Hansen take a back seat until the 1 o'clock window or the 10 a.m. window. Then Red Zone's nice.
Well, here's the thing. I pay for Red Zone. I don't pay for the Niners game. So I need the one I pay for is on the main TV.
How does that work? I thought you have to have the whole package.
No, you go $15 a month during the NFL season for NFL Network Plus, NFL Premium Plus, something or other. It's $15 a month throughout the NFL season. You get Red Zone on that.
You don't pay for Sunday Ticket?
No.
Oh, what are you doing?
$15 a month. I get Red Zone.
Dude, I will not eat to have a Sunday Ticket. I'll pay the $300, $400, whatever it is.
That's like $600 now.
It's my favorite thing of the year.
It's
I
awesome.
will literally not don't go to Starbucks.
But here's the problem with NFL Sunday Ticket. You're locked into one game and you're going to have to jump all the time. Like, I'd rather have Red Zone going.
You can do the 4 boxes. You
two
can do
TVs at one time. Red Zone has 8 boxes going.
I'm not coming over to your house for game days.
That's fine. I'm be just fine at home. But now it's going to be on ESPN. I wonder if ESPN is going to make it all on ESPN Plus, and you got to pay premium to get everything. Probably. That's
yeah, but YouTube TV has the deal. Like, YouTube TV is the one that has Sunday Ticket with Red Zone. So I don't know
yeah, but Red Zone's been its standalone thing for a couple years now that you could pay for by itself. So I would imagine it'd be on ESPN.
I wonder if they're going to put the NFL Network shows on ESPN2 or if they're going to go ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I don't know. ESPN and baseball, it looks like are coming to an end pretty soon here. So this
where is baseball going? I mean, Fox obviously has games, but like ESPN, I don't know what baseball is doing.
Baseball feels like it's in some trouble coming up here in about a year. December of 2026. Everything is going to change in the world of baseball. All right, good show today. That was fun. I enjoyed talking about NASCAR stuff. We don't usually get to talk about NASCAR, so the fact that NASCAR is coming to San Diego gives us an excuse for it, and I can't wait for that, honestly. And when we were talking to Togerson, I started to get worried about how many people are actually going to be allowed there. But you just got the ferries. Make all the parking downtown. Take ferries across. That's the way.
I think the U.S. military can figure out parking. I don't think that's something that needs to be concerned.
Bring up the aircraft carrier right next to the little dock down there by Petco Park. Load everybody onto an aircraft carrier. Bring that out. That would work wonderfully. Or helicopters. They got lots of options. Lots of options. Sammy and I are going to be there right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Never been to a NASCAR race, so that should be a good time.
Dude, it's going to be a blast. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. John and Jim are coming up next. Your chance to win $1,000 coming up in 5 minutes. Congratulations to Carrie, who won those Creed tickets. Who won the Wiz Khalifa tickets? Do you remember?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I believe it was David.
David, something like that. Congratulations. Thank you for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. John and Jim next.